Hello, dear friends. No human being has the right to the blessings of freedom unless one is vigilant in its preservation. Douglas MacArthur. Opinion piece. Hidden war. Spiritual battle. Powerful events. Invisible conflicts. Cascade of events. Sovereign debt reset. Some loose ends remain. The readjustment begins. The procession goes within. Red October's turning point. The flood begins with numbers. Financial warfare without tanks. Thousands of paratroopers arrive in the Caribbean. Let's start. A planned offensive against the entrenched apparatus of the dark side is underway, according to Aerial Proletariat. These are not isolated events, but synchronized maneuvers designed to root out the nodes embedded in the cabal. The unfolding cascade of events includes a federal government shutdown at midnight on October 1st, the resignation of over 100,000 federal employees, the unprecedented subpoena of 8 high-ranking military personnel, the unprecedented meeting, not subpoena, the return of the Templars, the designation of Antifa as a terrorist organization, Netanyahu's apology to Qatar, the activation of a modernized payment system, and the establishment of an international peace boat. We knew the end was near, but there are still some loose ends globally. However, the coalition is tying them up at breakneck speed. A new golden age is about to begin, according to Ruscha. Imagine a world where financial freedom is your birthright, not a dream. The chains of the past are about to be broken, and humanity is entering a golden age of abundance, health, and possibility. Whether you believe it or not, is coming, so activate your frequency. Ismael Perez describes spiritual and a political war lasting millions of years between forces of light and darkness. But humanity is on a positive timeline and is moving toward global awakening. He emphasizes the collaboration of allies to expose and neutralize corrupt networks and affirms the infiltration of hostile artificial intelligence into political and technological structures since ancient times. As an integral part of the prophetic outcome, Perez highlights the role of multidimensional beings, the activation of DNA, and the fight against an artificial intelligence known as Omega, the Antichrist in galactic terms. Reset. According to Edward Snowden, a top-level classified financial operation is injecting $500 billion into the global economy under the cloak of tariffs. No headlines, no warnings, just the quiet release of pent-up wealth designed to dismantle the Carter's control and reset the system. The most important financial event of the decade is happening right now, and it will never make the news. The year 2025 will not be remembered by the media, but by history. This is not a theory. It is confirmation that the axis of global finance is being restructured in real time. This message doesn't scream, it detonates. Someone close to the engine room of global finance sent a discreet signal: the reset has begun. This is not a speculation. This is not hype. This is not a war, but a repositioning of wealth. Governments don't manage this. Central banks don't manage this. Legal custodians, but not owners, release the funds through a decentralized control model designed to combat corruption. This distribution is precise. 80% for humanitarian aid, not for charity but for restoration projects. 1% for logistics, keeping the operation hidden. 19% for treasury bonds, anchoring the dollar and restructuring the flow. This is financial warfare without tanks, without a collapse, without a panic. Tariffs give governments an excuse while assets are quietly channeled through bailout channels. This is global economic theater, a reset disguised as a recovery. They will never call it a reset. They will call it monetary stabilization, liquidity optimization, or flow alignment. But make no mistake, this is the sovereign debt reset. This is not an alarm siren. It is movement. The flood begins with numbers, not thunder, and it has already begun. Conflict. Trump expands his federal powers under the domestic terrorism directive. Trump told his generals, in quotes, "We are being invaded. We have civil conflict. The cities will serve as training grounds." Juan Osabin describes the high-level military meeting in Virginia, where a line in the sand is drawn for all commanders, demanding absolute loyalty and clarity of position in favor of the presidential directive. Juan emphasizes that this is a gradual red October, moment where positions are clarified and definitive changes in political command are anticipated, comparing the solemnity of the events with scenes from historical leadership. Health. The public disclosure of the medbeds would have been authorized because several countries are in the process of revaluing their currencies, fulfilling a requirement for this disclosure, according to Trump's video on the subject published on Truth Social, which was later deleted, which is interpreted as the first official disclosure of their existence. Following this disclosure, the bed would be available to the public in about 6 to 8 weeks. The first beneficiaries would be extreme humanitarian cases and priority groups who will receive humanitarian redemption funds. Access would be completely free for the patient, with no payments or waiting lists via email or social media. Appointments can only be made through a national number when the public call is issued. Any offer is classified as a scam. The video presents the official disclosure of the medbeds as a fait accompli, albeit little publicized, marking the beginning of a global transition toward free regenerative healthcare, in sync with economic transformations according to the coalition narrative. All official centers are under the control of white hats, and it is flatly denied that this is controlled by the dark side, or that there are risks such as chip manipulation or negative technology. No one should pay anything, buy guts, or send the data to strangers. The only legitimate procedures are linked to official channels, and the public announcement will be made to the entire world. Regeneration. Dr. Michael Salla links the medbeds to discoveries of giant stasis chambers and suggests large-scale production at secret clandestine sites in Nevada and Florida. He mentions that these sites are producing large-scale stasis chambers, which would have allowed for mass and advanced production of medbeds technology for regenerative treatments. medbeds are designed to repair and rejuvenate the human body, working in harmony with the soul and energetic design of each individual, limiting their function to processes aligned with the patient's spiritual journey. It is indicated that this technology is controlled by allied forces and has the potential to be released to the public once the dark side's control is removed, in line with processes of global economic and political liberation. The presentation includes esoteric and scientific details about how these chambers work, scanning the individual on multiple levels and adjusting their energy field to balance and correct their vital structure. This content validates the relationship between medbeds and the existence of secret underground facilities capable of manufacturing these chambers, thus highlighting advanced production and deployment in a global context of profound transformation. Breaking news. Elon Musk introduces Grokipedia to counter Wikipedia. Trump gives $20 billion to Argentina, while American farmers declare bankruptcy and lose their family farms. Israel prepares an attack on Iran to overthrow the Persian regime. The US deploys bombers to the Middle East to attack Iran or the Houthis. According to senior Iranian official Mohsen Rezai, in quotes, "We only used 30% of our capacity during the 12-day war. If the war had lasted 2 months, the Israeli regime would not be mentioned today. If they resume it, we will respond with all our might." Close quotes. Russia announced a ban on fuel exports to all countries until the end of the year, due to growing shortages at gas stations across the country. France detains Russia-linked oil tanker. Trump calls Putin a paper tiger in a meeting with generals. Putin said, in quotes, "We haven't even started yet. Negotiate while you have time. We can level the centers of 100 European cities without even launching nuclear bombs." More than 8 tanker planes departed from the US bound for Europe, with most arriving in the UK. The last time this happened was when Israel and the US attacked Iran. Venezuela. The US is preparing to bomb Venezuela using drug targets as justification, NBC reports. US special forces are deployed and operating in Venezuela. Several Venezuelan officials and generals are negotiating a deal to hand over Maduro if President Trump allows them to continue controlling the country. The US Naval Task Force is preparing for possible military strikes inside Venezuela. President Trump has not authorized any military action yet, but preparations continue. The War Department wants regime change. Venezuela on high alert. Thousands of elite paratroopers arrived in the Caribbean. The massive arrival of airborne forces using C-17 heavy aircraft is reported. The Venezuelan government raised its maximum alert level, interpreting this move as a possible sign of preparation for a larger-scale operation or an act of direct intimidation. The deployment has been interpreted as a high-pressure strategy against the Venezuelan regime, rather than immediate preparation for an invasion. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.